A update today, Galactic Federation update. I'm at the beach. Seagulls are having lunch. Seagulls just caught a little crabby. Poor little crabby. I feel so sorry for him. Poor little crabby got caught. So we wanted to have an update. Everybody feels all the big shifts come in. I know that there's been a huge shift over the past couple of days. Lots of, we're preparing for 2024. 2024 is going to start off really big for celestial, galactic, alien alignments, for continuing preparations for 5D. All of the timelines, all of the grids, all of that is being prepared and adjusted for us. So as I was getting ready for a client this morning, I had a huge download from Commander Ashtar. I'm going to save most of that download for those that that are my loyal clients that have been with me for forever. If you wanted to come with me, I'm going to email you separately for a private class for the Commander Ashtar download, because a lot of it will be for those that have been preparing for leadership. Because there's going to be lots of big shifts over the next 6 months to help prepare humanity for greater and greater assimilation and integration of what the Galactic Federations are offering us as to how to roll out 5D Earth. So it's really going to be important that now we're kind of starting to organize. We're going to start to organize how we're setting up social systems, socio-altruism, how the federations are going to help with that, what depends on where you're at in your ascension cycle, where you're at with the integration of what you've processed, 51% of your karma, where are you stepping forward with your offerings. So again, taking commandmentship. The more you're taking commandmentship, the more you're going to be a part of the federations and your help to bring things forward and start rolling things out. So that's the intention. That's the kind of feeling impression I got today, was that Commander Ashtar and many of your guides, those of you that have been on the path for a while, that are excited to assist humanity, being a part of socio-altruistic setup, socio-altruistic organizing, shifting 3D systems to 5D systems, which are my vocational alignment systems. And I do that with people that have their business for self or private companies or bigger companies, organizations, to help align with 5D grids and 5D Ascension divine plan from the Holy Father and the Holy Mother. And so that's what I assist with. I assist with communicating with the higher realms in whatever people are doing in their work, if you will, and to help it align with Ascension. People should be doing that on their own anyways, but because these shifts are going to happen in greater acceleration, we have a planet of 6 to 8 billion people on it. And again, there's nothing in our systems right now that are offering what I offer to assist people in the alignment and the organization of these new higher vibrational systems that are directly Ascension affiliated. From here on out, it's going to be very obvious and evident that Ascension is a process. Ascension helps us understand who we are, what we exist with, and what exists within us, multidimensional experiences. And in that, those that are choosing to be intentional in that, and those that don't choose to be intentional in that, again, the opposite ends of the infinity, it will be very evident and very noticeable. So those that are key with the integration of oneness, the journey of oneness, the journey of that sacred return to self, sacred return to God, those will be the ones that will be offered various leadership experiences, if you will, from however the collectives are, if you're doing your own work with your higher self and your teams. I'm working with Commander Ashtar in the heavens with their programs of light and the systems of light. Those are the specific ones that are rolling out the Ascension program for humanity. And so when Commander Ashtar gives me a download, it's for those that I work with, those that I help, teachers, leaders, and coaches, to kind of get themselves aligned with these next phases of shifts. So these next phases of shifts, as they were telling me, we're going to be experiencing different types of ascension symptoms, and they will be tonal and audible. So a lot of high frequency tones, if you can practice. I'm going to be doing more sound, or shorter videos, like just a couple minutes of just light language and sound and singing, sounds and tones that will help with clearing out the fields, aligning, and doing light language alignments with the chakras. And so I'm going to be offering that. And so there's going to be a lot more of those ascension symptoms, which you're going to be having, like the ringing in the ears, Again, how everybody works with their ascension symptoms is going to be dependent on how and where they're at on their own ascension path. If they've been doing the work, if they've been doing the clearing work, if they've been working on their fears and their beliefs and all of the shadow energies, that will determine on what's they're ready for next. Some have not gone through the last cycle of soul's lessons. So every time we're going through a cycle of ascension, if there has not been the lessons learned in that last cycle, then you cannot pop up into a new cycle. You have to stay in that cycle until you have done your soul's lessons. So if your soul's cycle was all about healing the energies and the woundings to do with enviousness and jealousy, you have to stay in that cycle until you've proven to your teams and God that you've healed you've healed those wounds, because it's all lack of self. So all of those are, and again, why when you do your daily path work, you'll kind of know where you're at and what you're working on, then you take commandmentship of it. So Spirit is not there to kind of, babysit you and say, this is what we're working on today. It's up to you to say, okay, these are the energies I've been feeling myself go through. These are my shadow energies, and this is kind of what I'm working on. You're not going to be aligned with higher vibrational grid lines. You're not going to be aligned with higher vibrational dimensional experiences if you're not doing the work. Therefore, you're not going to be aligned with partnering with anybody that has already done the work. So they showed me that there is going to be, like they said the other day, a sifting out of the energies that are just not aligned to carry forward in whatever ascension cycle they're in, or they're refusing to kind of move through the energy work. So you have to move through the energy work. Then that will be very evident. And of course, those of you that have been, whatever cycle you're at, everybody is different depending on where they're at in their ascension cycle, depending on where they're at with their densities they're moving through just the allowance and acceptance experiences. If there's a lot of drama, games and scheming and plotting and planning, all the crap that I've been moving through, there's going to be evidence that you're going to have to be more, committed to your own self-healing. Because as we've been saying for quite a while, but it's going to be more and more evident as the federations were showing me, these next 6 months are going to be profound in the energetic shifts, and we're really going to feel. Which means that if we haven't been taking commandmentship of our multidimensional bodies, I know I see you all the time, Andrea, on Twitter, and so I am on there, but I switched my. I think you're on my new Twitter, because I had to switch my old Twitter because I had people hack into my social platforms. So I had like 3,000 or some odd followers on my old Twitter, and I had to cancel it because there were just too many hacks. Hi, Andrea. So I do have a new Twitter, and I'm pretty sure you're on my list. I'm pretty sure, because I always see you. I see you on there. So just make sure. I think it's Joanna1. I think I'm Joanna1. Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's so important that we share. Spirit told me that they will be lifting the shadow banning, because now there's authorities looking into all of the discrimination that's been done against me. So there are authorities that are looking into, and there will be charges, and there's people being watched, and there's being things that are being, I don't know how you do the I don't know anything about shadow banning. I don't even know what that is. Spirit just told me that I've been shadow bound, so then I just trust Spirit. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know how it's done. So Spirit is now, the authorities are now looking into everybody involved in my specific case, because they said that if I'm one of the smallest ones, most powerful leaders in energy work that has been done to, then there's so many more that are also being discriminated against. I'm just one of the smaller, they thought I was a nobody. And so they thought I was an easy target to steal off of, which supposedly for the last 8 years I have been. And God just allowed those tests to play out, because sometimes God too showed me that although it's as hard for somebody to have all of the targeting done on them and all of those things done, Spirit does those things for infinite number of reasons. God always has a higher divine plan, and it's harder for us to go through it, but we have to toughen our skin. Many reasons on the other end is Spirit sets up tests for everybody to give people chances to prove who they are. So if those people that had done all of those things, many of them had known me for a long, long time and had lied to my face hundreds and thousands of times, lied to my face, gave them opportunities, but that also led them to dig themselves deeper and deeper and deeper because they had lied so many times and there was so much documentation on those lies that it just keeps piling and piling and piling up. So it's kind of like a backlog of evidence. So Spirit does a whole bunch of things on purpose because all of the people that have been doing what they've been doing, it just more and more evidence because there's so many things that have been done against me. It's ridiculous on how much was done. And Spirit will do that. Spirit will test. You know, are you going to be in service, or are you going to play the stupid, arrogant, selfish games? So now that everything is crumbling for those that have been doing it, because the backfire is now hitting hard. So now they are saying, wow, karma is actually a real thing. And there are spirits giving them chances again. Are you going to do what's right and return what needs to be returned? Are you going to give the people credit where credit is due? It's about basic human respect. And when they don't do it, then the towers are going to continue. And also know too, because I've also had clients that are going through this as well, we have to have those on every new rung of the cycle of ascension. You're going to have those that have to test you, because that makes you stand higher in and more pure in the refinement of you, as Jesus said. The path is very thin and refined, because you have to return to you and be very strong in that story. The only way to be very strong in that story is if you get tested a lot on what is not your story. Everybody wanting you to be in there. You know, and I said on my post this morning, these people on the outside that have done nothing but harm and hurt me and steal from me and do spell casts on me every day for me to fit in their story, for me to return back to them and for me to go back into their sick, toxic experience. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants for you. And you're not going to be able to stand fully in yourself and in your light and in your story unless you have those challenges and tests. Because when you're actually out there for the collective, on behalf of the collective, there's going to be even more people that are going to want questions because they're confused. As I said, when these things start being pulled out like those Jenga blocks, there's nothing in our social collective. And this is why Commander Ashtar was kind of preparing me. That's why I was feeling the urgency, if you will, to put on a quick video. And then I'm going to have a separate class for those that are healers, teachers, and leaders, because that will be more specific to what Commander Ashtar wants me to prepare for those people. This is just an Ascension collective from Commander Ashtar. Because those blocks are being pulled, because the mother last week had said enough is enough. She's been disrespected enough. They keep doing the same things. They're not listening. They're still targeting her, still targeting me, still not returning monies, still playing dumb, still playing idiot, still playing that they're all victims and they're not taking accountability. So they're in that same experience. They're not doing the work. They're not taking accountability. They're not taking a knee. They're not being humbled. They're not making things correct by doing the inner healing, they're not doing the work, basically. They're still on that wounded path of they're a victim, and they just punch out a whole bunch of hurt to people by spell work and steal and do all the things that they've been doing. It's just the same stupid cycle. So they're going to remain on that same stupid cycle. It's their experience to have. It's their experience to face and make right. It's their experience to do whatever they need to do. I've been patient. I've been tolerant. I've been kind. I've been nice. And now it's just ridiculous. And it's beyond ridiculous. It's beyond time wasting. It's beyond immature. It's beyond petty. There's so many things wrong with what's going on. So there is a sifting out. There will be those jet blocks pulled out. Whatever happens. It's up to God to distribute and know what's going to happen, all that. They've been given infinite number of chances and opportunities to make right and do right. Karma's hitting hard. All the black magic and all the spell work is being returned. And they don't have protection. And so this is why they're going through what they're going through. And they'll still probably blame God and blame everybody that's calling truth on them. But that's the way that the cookies crumble. And that's no different than the leaders. So for the next 6 months, things are going to be, those blocks are going to get pulled because the mother has had enough. The father's had enough. Games are over. There's zero tolerance. It's like they're moving timelines quickly. And so things are going to move out. And there's various agreements within the galactic federations of the beings that have been, and it's part on contract too. We have to understand that. As a collective, we've had these collective galactic alien contracts where there was a contract at a collective level that there were certain alien groups and certain energetic groups, because of the eons of history of dark and light experiences, and that's just how we grow as evolutionary beings. So we have to take that into our human experience of evolution. It's just a natural progress of evolution. We have to have those dark aspects continuing to test us, because it's up to us to reclaim our power, our light, and our voice. So those tests have to be there, and we have to thank them for it. They've played their part. We always have to know of the grander design, so we don't ever have to play the role of us versus them, and it's this and that, and it's all, there's nothing or more than, this is an evolutionary experimental planet. We're on an experiment, and we've wanted to come along for this ride. It's like going on the best ride in the universe. We're evolutionary beings, and we wanted to see how far out of the universe from source creator could we get, and then return ourselves back to remember the God seed spark within, to remember that we're multidimensional beings, and know the ascension process helps you get your way back there. You have to then climb out of enslavement. You have to climb out of being enslaved. You have to climb out of being entrapped and controlled and fear-based programs and intimidated and targeted and all of the crappy things that people do when they think they own you. So you have to earn your way out of that. You have to do the work. You can't fake your way or pay your way to ascension. The elitists will not allow to pay their way through ascension. You can't do that. Your bodies need to be transmuted. Your multidimensional fields need to be transmuted, and you're the only one, because it's your body, it's your experience, it's your exploration, it's your expressuous source. You're the one and only one that has to transmute and move through your choices. What choices did you choose to believe in? Who did you choose to have around you? Who did you have in your life? And did you set up the appropriate blocks and boundaries when you needed to? And I've been doing the blocks and boundaries for 6 years, and still nobody was listening. So Spirit, the Mother, and the Father are now saying enough. Divine intervention, and there's going to be beings come in to intervene and get them away from me. Because nobody should go through that much abuse. Like, it's exhausting. It's like, what the fuck? Who the fuck are you to think that you have any ownership and claim on my life? Who the fuck are you to think that you have dictatorship and you have no right to rearrange my life and who comes in my life and who doesn't come in my life? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid. It's like the stupidest experience ever. And it's beyond, it's like so stupid. None of it makes sense. It's so stupid. So stupid. I have no boss. I don't have a partner. I've been celibate for 14 years. There's been nobody in my life in that regard. My work is my work. I'm the only one working on my work. I'm the only one that offers my sessions. And yet everybody else thought they had claim to what I offered. And they took all the money for it. They made fake pages. Whatever they did, there was a whole lot of shit done, and it's all going to come out. And they don't stop there. That's just it. That's how selfish these people are. So not only do they make your life a torment for 12 years, they get what they want. It's a total double standard. They get everything they want, making sure they get to have as many secret families and people and stories and partners as much as they want. And then they do spell work to block anybody coming around you. They do spell work to make sure you don't go anywhere. They do spell work to make sure you're suppressed, depressed, and kept under their thumb. It's a complete enslavement experience. And so those are the things that I had to bring forward to help humanity, the elitist programs, those that are paid to have all of the corruption that was done on my one discrimination case. 50 plus people, however many monies were passed to silence, however many monies were passed to do spell work, however many monies were passed to keep me in subjugation for 6 years and not have me go anywhere, to have my accounts shadow banned for 6 years. Well, somebody's making money off my videos. I mean, it's ridiculous. And God will be calling everybody out. Every single person, the 50 plus people, and everybody will be seen in court. God said, bring your highest paid lawyers. Right? Like the dominoes. And if they have big names, even the better, because God knows what everybody does behind closed doors. So it will be me and God in court with everybody else that has discriminated and blocked me and suppressed me and tried to stop me and think that I was their player or that I'm their person. I'm nobody's person. I've never been anybody's person. I've been on my own for 14 years. Nobody has a right to come into my life and say they have any asking of me. And nobody has any right to put spell work to see who's going to come in and out of my life. Nobody has any right to say what I'm going to receive or what I'm not going to receive. Who the hell are you? You're not God. So those spell works are going back post haste. All spell work going back. because we've had enough. Light workers get to deserve their receiving. They get to deserve their light. They get to deserve help from the federations. They get to deserve intervention when they ask for it. Because light workers are the only ones that know what's going on, and the collective will need us. So that's what Commander Ashtar was kind of saying. He was kind of preparing. The next 6 months are going to be big shifts. And so he said some of the shifts will be silent and subtle, depending on how excited you are for first contact. So if you're excited for first contact, you go to bed every night like I do, and you start calling in, I want more contact with my celestial teams. If you're doing your daily work and you have like myself, I have a very small coaching business that you want it to grow, you want it to be of more service to the collective. If you have those intentions, then those shifts will be bigger and you'll be aligned with greater public service so that you can be used as a vessel of the heavens, right? To help humanity assimilate, to integrate higher vibrational integration. So again, it's an escalating step up. So this is why I said in my video, the purposefulness. So go back and watch that video, because over the next month, like 30 days really, close out 2023. All 3D, those of you that have been on the path for a while, close out all 3D contracts. Make sure that you're doing your closing ceremony, sending it to spirit, because you don't want to carry any 3D contracts over, because you're now on a new rung, which I said to my client this morning. She was going through a really big ascension shift, and she wasn't understanding what was going on. And then I referred her back to my videos about when your fields get turned on, you're going to feel like, what the fuck just happened? So when you're understanding and watching our videos, I say what I say for a reason, because everybody's going to go through those awakenings where they're going to wake up one morning and they don't feel the same. Your fields are going to get turned on. You're going to start realizing you're a crystal or a rainbow or a hybrid or whatever you're going to be aligning with. It helps you claim that part of yourself. And then you start working with your fields in a higher and trained way, because you can't practice being 3D in a 5D experience. You have to behave in a higher vibrational way, because your fields are oscillating faster now. She did a lot of clearing, so she had jumped up into a new space of bandwidth, but that new space of bandwidth came in with a whole lot of noise for her, and she didn't understand what to do with it. So that's what I teach. I offer those experiences, and then that gets you off of, like some people, it gets off some that have been misdiagnosed. It will get some off of drugs, synthetic drugs that mess up the crystal system. So again, anybody that's been diagnosed and misdiagnosed as bipolar and things like that, a lot of that is just the misunderstanding and misguidance of how to operate within your systems. The only reason people are depressed is because the compression of energy, and they're not understanding how to move that energy. So I show you those tips and techniques. All of our videos do. It talks about the process of ascension. So this is where I don't need to prove anything. Ascension is real. And if you're feeling scattered, lost, like you don't know what's going on, if you're hearing psychic voices, if you've got a lot of energy in your field, if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling depressed and suppressed and tired, those are energetic things. We are energetic beings. And if you do black magic, if you do spell work, and you have been doing the dark arts, and you've been manipulating and interfering with people's lives, and you're doing underground corruption, of course, your life is a mess and a wreck, because that's the backfire and the return. And you can't expect anything different. Especially if you're an empath or a psychic and you're doing dark magic. You deserve what you're getting back, because everybody's been told. So it just is what it is. You're doing black magic on somebody, you deserve what you sit in. Right? There's no more tolerance. There's no more tolerance for ignorance. You're going to do hateful things, you're going to get hateful things back. And you can't expect anything different. Spirit will not support you and protect you if you're doing hateful things to people, stealing from them, taking from them, and wanting their life to be bad. Why would Spirit do good things for you and do great things for you? I mean, the elitism and how they've operated and how corruption has been, they've been doing very, very bad things to people and harming people and creating very dark things on people's souls. And they just pay people off to be silent and quiet. So they've gotten away with it. But now that we're 4D, it will not occur anymore. The corruption in the underground will not be able to stand. So now they're seeing the karma backfire, and the light workers and the truth tellers and the psychics are just calling it. We called this 6 years ago. We called this 3 years ago. We called this 2 years ago. We called this last week. That's the energy. That's called creational reality. If you're going to do black magic on people, you're going to get it back. What else would you get? What you put out comes back. It's called reality. Doesn't matter how many protection spells you put. God is showing you those aren't the universal laws. Why are you choosing to put black magic on somebody just because you want something, just because you want to take something from somebody, just because you're jealous of where they sit? Then sit down and do the inner work and be it yourself. That's why you have a reflection to say, wow, being positive, being aligned, having my own story, that's a real thing. I can do that. So sort it out for yourself. Who are you? What do you exist within and what exists within you? Sort it out. That's what we talk about. And it's getting old. There's lots of other light workers out there. I want to be with those that have been doing the work. Those that still want to mess around in black magic, find another light worker because you're not going to be in my field anymore. The collectives of the Galactic Federations are going to start moving you and rerouting you to other light workers that you can start manipulating and harassing. Give some other light workers a chance to be tested every fucking day with your relentless fucking spell work. I have my right to deserve, and I have my right to receive. I have my right to feel like I'm deserving. I have the right to feel that I'm going to be loved. I have the right to feel that there's great people coming in my life, not old realm and old world warlock Satanists that do rituals and spell casting on you because they want you in their life when you've said no 8 million trillion times. And they just can't get enough from taking from you because now their life is falling apart. No, I'm not an option. I'm nobody's person. And I'm nobody's Wonder Girl that they can come back to and I get to fix their life for them. Every time they destroy their life and every time they destruct things, the little old light worker comes in and fixes it. No, fix your own fucking life. Because the people that I say that to have been had the same message for 6 years and they've done nothing but take and relentless attacks. No more. It's abuse. And it's criminal. And like God said, we'll see you in court. Bring your best lawyers. Bring them, your best lawyers. Every single one of them. God knows exactly who does what behind what closed doors. And God will make sure the appropriate evidence, paperwork, signatures need to be there. So it doesn't matter how much anybody tries to hide or make go away. Trust me. When God wants to make a statement and use a story for the collective, make no doubt about it, with $1 billion corruption business, my story will be one of the biggest corruption stories that will be sent as a message for all of the world. When you're in corruption and you choose to behave this way, this is how it will turn. Make no mistake about it. Tables are turning. And they have to. You can't behave this way. You can't behave to treat people so horribly and expect nothing to come back to you. What's coming back to you is the mess you placed on others. That's the underground corruption being shown to everybody right now. Those that have been under the table, those that have been behind closed doors, those that go out and do the things that they know that they're doing that they've been told to stop for years. And instead of spending that money on healing, they spend the money in the underground and they keep hurting people and they keep harming people. They keep targeting people and they keep forcing people to be in their spell work and they keep forcing people in all of their stupid ass spell work because they want them in their life because they're not doing the work by healing their wounds. They're just being paid by the ringleaders. They're being paid by the ones with the money and they're all of the elite transactions. It doesn't matter what you call it, whether it's a spell work, whether it's voodoo, whether it's making someone be ugly, whether it's making someone come hither, whether it's making somebody bind to the root chakra or taking their creative chakra juices, whatever the sick shit is, because it's sick shit. It's not, those are woundings, lots of woundings. You want to hurt people because you're not feeling good about yourself. It's all wounding. Just pocket the whole thing as underground corrupt wounding. When you're not feeling good about yourself, you're going to go do hurtful, harmful things and you're going to pay people to make yourself feel better. Does that fix the wound? It doesn't. And now everybody's finding out what we've been talking about for 6 years is now a thing. Ascension is a thing. If you're not working on your wounding, if you're not being accountable for your energy, if you're not being accountable for your choices, if you're not being accountable for your actions, thought, word, and deed, then you will be sitting in exactly what you are. You are your vibration. Your life is your proof. Haven't we said that about 8 billion times? So I'm going to say it one more time. I don't have a partner. I don't have a boss. I never did have a boss. I never had any signatures of any kind whatsoever. I have never given my permissions on any level for anything except for a divorce that I've been moving through for the past unnecessarily long, delayed, derailed, messy divorce of 6 years, which should have only taken 2. So again, you can tell, why did it take 6 years? Because people had agendas. They wanted to control how I moved, where I moved, and in what way I moved, and delay it as long as possible. So the stories are up now. Timelines are coming down. Jenga blocks are being pulled out. Nobody can fuck with me anymore. I'm tired of being fucked with. I'm unfuckwithable. And if you want to test it, you're going to get the exact same being sent back to you because my ancestors, the mother and the father, have said enough a jillion times. And people will be dealt with immediately. How much can one person take? Seriously, how much can one person take? One person. Not one penny has been reserved. Not one penny has been returned. Not one written apology. No emails to my lawyer about what was done and how to correct it. So these people have no intention of fixing anything. They just want to keep targeting to see if I'm going to come off my post and I'm going to go to the dark side and I'm not going to serve God anymore. I will always walk with God. And I will see and I will date and I will be with whomever I wish that God places in front of me, because God would never place me in front of anybody and have anybody placed in front of me that does spell work. Because you're not in my vibration if you do spell work. You're just not. And if you continue to keep doing spell work, then as I said to you, you are being called out and the karma will be equal. Doesn't matter how many protection spells you put on yourself, because the universal laws trump all. That is what we are aligning to. And that's what Commander Ashtar has been showing me that we are going to be accelerating with. The universal laws. Right use of free will, non-interference is the number one law. And the right and the law of balance. Are you aligning with those daily? And if you're not, then you can expect karma. Period. And it's no light worker's fault that you're experiencing karma. That's your fault for choosing those choices. So take accountability for it and change your beliefs. It's kind of that easy. Draw it out. Write it out. And then you will see what your beliefs are, how you hold yourself. Do you hold yourself high or not? If you hold yourself high, you would never hurt somebody. If you're aligned with your higher self, you would never go into sex rings. If you're aligned with your higher self, you would never do anything to take from somebody. If you are aligned with your higher self, your body will be healthier and healthier every day. Because you know how to move through density. You know how to move through darkness. You know how to move through the beliefs that allowed you to call that in and attract that and manifest that. When you're aligned with your higher self, you know how to reclaim your light. You know how to reclaim your power and say, no, there is no more cycles of abuse. No more. And didn't I say that 8 billion times? So again, the divine feminine not being heard and listened to. Because a lot of that too, as I wrote about in my video or my post this morning, was that a lot of the light workers, they're calling out all of these things that is obvious and blatant of what needs to be shifted in the collective and how we need to up level and honor higher vibrational systems. We're talking about that. But when it comes to us being targeted and being discriminated against all the time, because we're light workers, they don't take that as like a a regular job type of thing, because it's energy. It's not really like a banking job. Well, we're redefining that, because we are the only ones that know what's going on. We're the only ones that are truly calling the truth, because these elite people, false community leaders, false elitists, are the ones in the whole underground corruption. So who's going to tell on these people? The ones that they're being paid to silence, the ones that they're being paid to make paperwork go away, the ones that are being paid to have false claims against an innocent person because they want the inheritance money or the insurance policy money, or they want to have something to do with somebody that's not theirs, but they don't want to do the work to do it themselves. It's just absolutely, those are the core wounds. Not understanding who you are, being separate from who you are as divine, and people think they have to do all these underground corrupt things to get things, and they don't. You can get whatever you want aligned with who you are, and you don't have to create corruption or steal from somebody or put something in somebody's drink to make them go to bed with you, and all of these things that are just criminal. They're criminal things. Because you don't respect your body, you don't respect the right use of free will, you don't respect when somebody says no, you don't respect the fact that you need to go away and you need to go and heal. Because if you're doing any one of those things, those are actual crime experiences where you don't care about anybody but you. That's crime. So why is there crime? Because we're disconnected. So you need to get reconnected, which is what everything we've been teaching. So share my videos, because everything in our social world right now is healable. It's all healable. And it's not for us to say if anybody's going to choose to get connected with God, to get reconnected with their higher selves, but it's also not okay and not fair for the light workers, the only ones that are going to pull humanity through all of these transitional experiences, unless we get supported and we get protected. Do you think Trump's going to know how to pull a collective through? Do you think Trump is going to sit there and say, okay, gang, here we're going through this next ascension shift as everybody's fields are turning on and nobody knows what the hell to do. And my channel is shadow banned, so I'm seen by maybe 50 people when I could be seen by a billion that needed it. So tell me what's going to happen then. A billion people are going to go back on synthetic drugs and going to be misdiagnosed, and then they got to go through a whole new round of healing because they were misdiagnosed to begin with, because nobody understands ascension and what's going on. And then there's more corrupt things going on because the corruption is going to start making money off that because they're going to keep targeting the light workers, the only ones that know what's going on and speaking truth. So you tell me, at what point are we going to break and wake up? What I speak is truth. What is going on is truly going on. $1 billion underground business, and it is being pulled out now. Community by community, one by one. Everybody's been given enough opportunity. Are you following the right use of free will and non-interference? If you're interfering with anybody's life but your own, then you're not in alignment and you will have karma. Spell work on another person when you don't have permission is interference. When you're trying to block somebody, take from somebody, make them not good, make them not follow their path, make them come over to your dark side, make them be held back, derail them because you don't want them to go ahead while you're sitting back. You can't make somebody be pulled back because you don't want them to move forward because you're not doing the work. You want to mess around a little bit. How selfish is that? No, everybody has their right to ascend, to expand, and to explore, and to express themselves in it. That's a law. That's a birthright, and God will support you every bit of the way. And I don't deserve to be discriminated because I get to choose for myself. Nobody owns me, nobody claims me. And nobody will tell me who I can and cannot see, be with, or receive from. Period. And how arrogant and misleading and how absolute karma-ridden you will be if you think that that's your role in my life. Oh my God. I've literally been on my own for 14 years. Nobody has say on my life at all. So good luck. God will have you on the front bench. The heavens are so, they're at their like, it's like the worst kindergarten class you could think of, and it's just that's the level it's gotten at. It's like so ridiculous and so unnecessary. People just have to go within and just get fucking healed. Heal your wounds. You have no right to take this one person and wreak havoc on their life because you have a thing about them. Obsession, addiction, whatever it might be. If you have addictions and obsessions, heal those addictions and obsessions. If you're spending more time focusing on one person, you're not doing it within yourself. And it's not my fault that people are choosing to behave in certain ways. Those are your choices. Those are your behaviors. Go heal. I'm showing you a higher vibration. Go heal. Claim your story. And get assessed. If people are acting that way, you need to get assessed by a physician. Because that's not normal. Doing crime is not normal. You need to get assessed. You need to understand who you are as a multidimensional being. You need to get healed. See a healer. See a practitioner. See a doctor. And look into holistic herbal ways to heal, not synthetic drugs. Because when you're going through ascension, those synthetic drugs will just mess you up and turn everything off, which won't do anything to heal you. It'll just suppress, numb, and dumb you because that's what synthetic drugs do. They numb you and dumb you down so you don't feel anything. You have to feel what you're feeling to allow the energy to move. So synthetic drugs will repress and absolutely pull you back on the ascension journey. So just know that. So again, are you in ownership and are you in the advocacy of your highest and best? You have to choose that. You have a Christed body. Your body is infinitely healthy and abundant. You have to choose it. Stop giving your power away. So I'm going to have a session with another one of the clients down the road, and we're going to be talking about her experiences, what she's gone through, how she's been since using my tips and techniques to and use her multidimensional bodies and fields, and how it's assisted her in her various stages of her development. Because as crystalline children, as high functioning children, hybrid children, crystalline children, rainbow children, indigo children, whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. all of those aspects we've been all discriminated against and placing us in pockets and not giving us our rights of voice, not rights of our being expressive of who we are, haven't been heard when we've been saying stop, haven't been hearing us when we've been saying this is not okay, haven't been hearing us when we've been saying this is corruption, haven't been hearing us when we say no, that's shadow banning, haven't been hearing us when we've been saying no, I don't want that drug, trying to place us in these boxes that we simply aren't meant to fit in. We're not meant to be fitting in these low vibrational boxes of you have this, 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 and this. No, we don't. We're actually vibrating on a different level than these people that are saying we're supposed to be put in boxes, like autism. These are all about being multidimensional in a high vibrational, multidimensional field of telepathic communication and understanding and download. They have a high vibrational way of interpreting information that the 3D systems don't get. So they put them in this little slot that says, this is who you are and how we're going to define you. We want to put you in a smaller box and we want to give you drugs for that. Because we want you to fit in how we want you to behave. We want you to behave in how we want you to behave. Because if you behave outside of this norm, and so far the norm has been treating people like horribly and putting them in underground sex ring, as long as they're a slave, as long as they're numb and dumb, that's okay. No, it's not okay. We're going to stand up and we're going to start speaking for the people. Because there's billions on this planet that are high vibrational, rainbow, indigo, crystalline, hybrid children, and we are not going to be placed in smaller vibrational boxes that numb and dumb us. We're not going to act the way you want us to act. We are here as high vibrational beings. Get used to it, boys. Giddy up. This is a 5D world. We will not be enslaved. We will not be told who we are. We will not be told how we will behave. We will not be put on synthetic drugs that numb and dumb us and turn off our intuitive bodies and our alignment with our higher selves. We are aligned with our higher selves, and we are just getting started. So giddy up, elitism, because you haven't been doing a good job. And Spirit's calling everybody out. Are you benevolent for the greater good? Is your money going towards the greater good? Is your money going towards the having of the all, for the all? Are all voices being heard, fair and share and equal? If you're a part of that fair, share, and equal, and if you have been putting your money towards greater good things and not having infinite trips to Epstein Island on your private jets, then you won't be called out. You have nothing to worry about. I'm placed here to be that scale of balance with Anubis and Thoth and all of the sacred masters that I walk with. That's my role here. And I'm also working with the Galactic Federation to help move humanity along. No, we're higher vibrational. We're going to start behaving like it. We can't behave like 3D when we're entering into a 5D space. We have great gifts and we're just getting started. We don't need the medicines that make us sick and turn us off to who we truly are as spirit. And why my information and temple wisdoms like mine have been suppressed for so very long. I'm not the first Ascension teacher and master to have been suppressed and discriminated against. All masters had been. That's how we evolve spiritually. Because we're not going to bow and we're not going to surrender and we're not going to surrender to less than and lesser gods. Because human laws, that's not my jurisdiction. The heavenly jurisdictions is what I reside within. I know who I am and I walk with God. And the federations are going to be those that assist us in aligning with higher vibrational templates for first contact and how to align universal systems upon earth that are fifth dimensional within the grids that serve the greater good of the all. All monies and all abundance will be shared equally. There won't be a 5% haves and a 95% have-nots. That's not New Earth. And everybody's being called out. So your underground bunkers aren't going to work, people. Just saying. Karma's going to find you no matter where you are. No healer's going to visit you in an underground bunker. Ah, too funny. Say it like it is, girlfriend! Oh, the mother. You say it, Joanna! We are working with many beings right now within the systems of light to for the smoothest and most joyful expression for first contact. Because again, like they said, and I felt it totally this morning, it was like I had this moment where like the top part of my crown chakra lifted up and it was like, oh my God, I was like floating up here And it was like my spirit and my body detached. I had to focus on bringing my spirit back down into my body. That's how like the shift, it was just like this vibrating, my chakras were open, the energy was coming in, and I started to feel that part of myself rise up. A lot of what I've experienced too, just because I've been around kids, so many kids, and because I was this way as a kid too, when you're high functioning, it's really easy for you to come out of your body. A lot of the times the higher functioning kids, because it's so dark and aggressive here on earth, and they feel safer when they're in their higher chakras. So they end up having a lot of accidents in the playground and stuff, and they're not really watching, they're clumsy. So you have to remind those kids that are clumsy all the time to really ground in their bodies. And you can do that by just having them talk about the earth, having them talk about trees, having them talk about the sand, and all of those things, right? So get them used to being with Gaia in that way. Because they're usually working from their higher chakras and they're not feeling safe in their body. So that's really good to just do grounding and have them call in their light, having them call in their energy and ground to Gaia, because it is safe for them to be here. Again, there's nothing out there in the social constructs right now that are teaching children how to work with their chakras, how to pay attention to how they feel, how to call in their energy, how to call in the special unique gifts that they have and start using them to benefit them. So that's up to each and every person to start, again, sharing our videos, empowering, inspiring, and encouraging. That's the new way of the 5D parent. It's not about worrying, because you're going to create timelines of worry. So don't worry about your children. Know that they're masters. Know that they have guides. Have them call on their guides. Have them talk about dreams. Empower, encourage, and inspire them. That's how you know you're not going to create a worrisome timeline with them. Because as mothers and as parents, that's all we do is we worry about our kids, right? But the Pleiadians showed me a long time ago, you want to create timelines that are really empowering for them and really happy for them. So you want to encourage them and empower them and inspire them to be powerful in their bodies, to be powerful in their voices of their spirit. Because they have to stand up for their bodies, just like you. It's just like I'm teaching you to do. So now you have to teach it to your children. Conversations around the house about energy, that they have ownership of their bodies. Nobody is to touch their bodies. Their consciousness and their light belongs to them, and call their energies back every night, and have Archangel Michael put a seal on their bodies and their dream time, so that no energies can get in and out of their dreams, and start fooling with their bodies. So it's teaching the children at the youngest of ages how to work with their bodies and claim their energy and claim the right to their voice and their choice in their body. So if we're taught these things right from the earliest of ages, then there's very little room for any, unfortunate, deceiving people that want to take them and traffic them and pretend they're going for a modeling shoot, and all of a sudden they're in an underground sex ring, and then sell them. I mean, just ridiculous and horrible. And we have to teach the kids how to be smart and wise and honorable and higher vibrational. And then those elite beings that have been doing these things and thinking this is okay and getting away with it and paying people to make their court cases go away, those are going to be no more. Spirit will make sure that something will go wrong. Spirit will make sure the monies don't get posted. Spirit will make sure that the whistleblowers come through when they need to come through. Spirit will make sure paperwork is found when it needs to get found. That stuff is going to start happening, because, again, there's no more tolerance. The corrupt is not going to get away with what they've been getting away with for however long. The divine masculine and the distortions of the divine masculine has to be healed. The reason the underground is there is because of the wounding to the divine masculine. They haven't been taking ownership of who they are, what they exist within, and what's going on within them. And all of their sexual wounding that has not gotten healed. And all of the monies that's gone into the underground could have gone into healing programs. So all of those monies will be redirected. And we're going to have to create systems for that. So that's what Lord Michael was saying. And Lord Ashtar. We have to rework those monies, and there has to be those light workers on board. Like light workers, stand by. Because the light workers are going to be needed to help those that, those of us that take regular clients and help them through what they're going through, so that they're not feeling stressed and, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's just your fields are turning on. You've just went into a new higher bracket of your ascension bandwidth, and it feels totally different. When you go into a new bandwidth of energy, you're not going to feel the same you did last week. Because you're going to be now more sensitive. You're going to be hearing energies differently, feeling energies differently, and you need to then acclimatize. So I teach those techniques, how to acclimatize. And then the children are going to be going through these things as well. And nobody's teaching any of these things out in the public. So we have to be prepared to talk about energy as an everyday thing, how to maintain, sustain on higher vibrational entrainment, because we can't behave 3D in 4 and 5D light. As we can see now, all of the corrupt systems will now be pulled out, because 3D corruption cannot sustain itself in 4 and 5D light. And thank God for that, right? For those of us that have been doing light work on this for, God knows how long, daily light work on these systems to pull these systems up and focusing our light on those systems so that all children can be liberated. Anybody that's in the underground will be liberated. And then people that are doing pornography, they'll have to choose for themselves, because they're going to be aware when their bodies and their psychic energies turn on that they've got a lot of entities running around their body and head. Again, nothing is prepared. I said in my social post this week, I said, what leaders are gonna direct all of these people from this billion-dollar business, which is 25% of the world's market? Who's going to direct these people? How are these people going to get healed? Do the leaders know? No, because they're a part of it. They're part of feeding it. Okay, so good luck when that happens. We have to really wake up. No? Am I the only one that sees this as a thing? We hope that you will feel the love and the happiness. Oh, so they said, we're going to help soften and smooth the ride. I laughed at that. I go, ooh, smooth. Nice ad there. They always slide these little, I always know when they say things when they're trying to, kind of reduce the the punch on it. They said smooth it out to be most joyful. So all hands on deck. Too funny. I've been waiting for this for a long time, so I'm so excited. I mean, I've been talking about light ships and first contact with my teams, and really getting excited about seeing my teams, and really getting excited about these new healing systems in the collective. We're not going to be looking at our jobs the same way anymore. We're going to be aligning everything in 5D. And all of the monies that were spent on the underground, they're going to be put back into healing systems. So all light workers will be needed to help work these systems, because you guys have been on the path for a while. You know how to transmute energy. You know what your ascension cycle is. You know what happens when you're moving into a higher bracket of vibrational bandwidth. And a lot of light workers are going to be needed to help see those people through how to navigate ascension. Ascension is a process. It's a very sacred process. You're reunifying with the wholeness of who you are as God. And you absolutely have to take account. You have to reconcile all of your choices and all of those soul fragments that you've chosen to play in separation and darkness. And why you have to reconcile that is because there are universal laws that abides with the absolute sacred life of all creation through the evolutionary process. God's divine design for all life, all planets, all galaxies, all aspects of humanoid, non-humanoid, everything. So we can't have a percentage of people that aren't paying attention to any laws whatsoever, and then the rest of the universe has laws. No, it's time for us to level up and get out of kindergarten, and we have to align with these laws because we are a universal being. And once we get used to those laws, then moving through the ascension process and just transmuting your stuff daily is just a normal. It's just like brushing your teeth every day. But we do have to practice being higher vibrational. We're not disregarding, turned off, ignorant 3D superficial beings where we don't care about anybody or anything. No, we do care. I care about my body. I care about thought, word, and deed. I care about my vibration. I care that I'm here to help humanity through the most profound experience of all. Yeah, no, we're going to do this right. And we will correct the wrongs. Because people need to be healed. So share my videos. So they said, we hope that you feel the love and the happiness that we offer in the gratitude of this new earthly shift. The ascension symptoms will change as you enter into this new cycle of energy. So again, what they showed me was a lot of tonal, their tonal frequency, well, they're saying activations, but to me it looks more like it looks like a thermometer. And depending on where you're at with the integration of, again, remember your 51% is on one side and your light is on the other, what you integrate, what you allow, what you accept, what you're working on and accepting, and you're holding all of that sacred. Accept your shadow is sacred, because you can't have equal light if you're not owning your shadow, right? And it gets frustrating with me when I'm talking about the same thing 8 years in a row. Like, enough is enough. You've played your game, spell work's done, go home, right? Find somebody else to target. I've made that very clear. I'm not playing in this game anymore. And now that they haven't listened, my teams are saying, okay, we'll go in. Right? They haven't heard you 8 million times. Let's see if they'll hear us. Okay, that's not it. What else did they say? Okay, they talked about the Ascension symptoms. Oh, so yeah. So the thermometer, right? The thermometer shows how much of the density did you move through. And then when we send those tones, what does that tone on what part of your vibrational body? Because remember, your pillar of light activates all of your chakras up and down your multidimensional systems and the fields that you operate within. So that's how I saw it. And I offer those tones to help clear away when you come into those sessions with me. I see those things and they show me. So that'll be part of my gifts too that are opening. So I'll be seeing what needs to be offered as a sound to help clear whatever needs to be cleared for that thermometer, for those densities to be brought up, right? So just that you know, when people do light language and healing, they sit in the field until your teams and yourself with intentions, what I say, doing the work. When you sit at night when you're doing your health sessions, if you want to book a session with me on how to do that and what to do, let me know. Because those sessions that I suggest, those health sessions, are very pivotal because, again, if you're doing your Ascension pathwork, that's awesome and great, but it also assists with, again, sustaining and maintaining and amplifying and enhancing your light that you're able to carry and process. So those night sessions are so important. And I know when I wake up in the morning, I am doing another session in the morning before I even open my eyes. That's what I'm getting used to now. So it's a 24, it's like when I'm at sleep, I know I'm on light ships. I know they're putting in me recalibration chambers. They're redoing my bodies. They're doing a lot of healing work with me at night on the ships. Plus I'm doing a whole bunch of other things at night. And then I'm going to bed with a healing session. I'm waking up with a healing session. So that's what my day looks like. And then throughout the day, I'm doing my prayer work, my energy work. I'm doing clients and things like that when writing my book. So what did you say? Oh yeah. So when we make sounds in light language, it sits in the field until you, with pure intent, call forward something to be cleared, and then that activation takes place. So that light language is multidimensional. Light language is multidimensional. Sounds are multidimensional. So when you offer healing and a session, when you book a session with us, you have that session, say, in the middle of the day, but that activation is continually and ongoing because I offer codes and I offer sounds and I offer light language that goes into your field, and it just gets moved and moved around and shifted as you and your teams are intentionally working with it. Again, you as the commander. So everything I offer is purposeful. Ascension is a process, and I show you how to work as being a multidimensional being, which is what everybody will have to know as we ascend, right? So again, it depends on the unseen circumstances pushing you to move into position. So they said, yeah, there'll be unseen circumstances that will push each and every. So again, the like the domino effect, synchronicities, right? You'll wake up one day and say, wow, I just got to go there. So your teams are going to show that to you more and more, and you have to act on them. So don't wait around anymore. You got to act. Spirit says, go there, go here, you act. So again, the unseen circumstances that will push you to move into position. So again, all hands on deck. We want you to see and look forward to these exciting shifts and changes. So what they also show me is that, you know how I always talk about the bandwidth and all these spirits, ascension cycles like this, and they within each new ascension bandwidth cycle platform thread, right? 3D thread, 3D thread, 3D thread, because you have to go through 51% of 3D. 4D is all the emotional healing in your emotional body. That emotional body is connected to your spiritual body, your sexual body. So there's a process, right? The 3D is where all the wounds happen. 4D is your healing of all those wounds. And 5D is those templates where you're stepping up and say, wow, I can behave differently, right? I'm now a multidimensional being. My chakras are in alignment. My divine masculine, my divine feminine are all in alignment. Wow, I've got a new sense of standard. I've got a new sense of beliefs. This is who I am now. This is why when you're going through the ascension process, you're going to have to let people go and move on from different relationships because they're not going to understand the new version of you. Because you're redefining yourself, you're redesigning yourself. You have standards now, you have morals, you have values, and how you were treated before is not okay anymore. And so other people won't be okay with that. It's okay because they're benefiting off you being taken advantage of. Right? And of course they had to play that role, but there's just some of us that are just so sick of the fucking roles. Like, enough. Like, what the hell? Why do you have to do like 8,000 cycles of being treated like crap? And then when you're ready to come out of your devil state, now you want to be friends? No. So be okay to say that, divine feminine. or masculines. Right? You've had somebody lie to you for 15 years, 14 years, 13 years, 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, 2 years. On a consistent basis, hiding very pivotal things about who they are and what's been going on that affects everybody involved. And then when they get finished done playing in their devil energies and their shadows, they want to come right back in and play patty cake and bake some cookies? No. Damage was immense. No. Doing death magic and derailing somebody from their path is not okay. That's an actual spiritual crime. And it is a physical crime. Human rights. They're big things. And again, would you want to have those people as your friend? Is that what we're saying as a friend? So talk to your children. These things are not okay. When somebody wants to derail you off your path, or they're jealous because of everything you're doing and everything you're accepting, then they're very wounded. So have compassion and choose not to be around them, because you don't need that energy draining. You deserve to be proud of yourself. You deserve to celebrate who you are. You deserve to show other girls and boys that divine feminine can be celebrated. Divine feminine do have a voice. Divine feminine are making profound changes upon this earth. And children deserve their voice of their own body and their energy. And they deserve to be heard and listened to the first time. And if there's nothing that I've said on my channel since day one, it is that. We are sacred and divine, and we deserve to be heard the first time. Nobody will tell us what we can believe in. Nobody will tell us what we can do. Nobody will say that we have to be in their club or their story. When we say no, it means no. Find another person to bully or target or pull into your story and suck the life out of. Find somebody else to use the energy off of. No means no. Unseen circumstances that are pushing you, we want you to see and look forward to this exciting shift for humanity. New templates, so they show me, new templates are being placed for all of you to work within. So again, remember that new bandwidth I told you about. There's going to be, how they showed it to me was like those back in olden days when we used to go into the library and they used to have the overhead, the overhead machine where it was like glass, and then they used to have the rolly thing where it would go up and down, all these old technologies, and they used to have the flimsies. So that's what the templates look like. It's a flimsy. This flimsy has been coded and it's now on, because again, the multiverse beings, God has the divine plan. I'm just giving it to you as a conduit. This is how I see it. You think of it however you want. I'm just saying this is how I see it. God's divine plan for all life across all multiverse, because there's gods in different universes. Our God for this multiverse is the one God of the all God. Because remember, God has a higher self too. The God of the higher self is the multiverse, right? So God, all of the multiverse has an ascension plan. So God has to get those plans from somewhere. The higher gods of gods, that like the God, the one God, Mother, Father, have their higher selves in the multiverse. It's cascading, the one God. So that God has a plan for every aspect of life in the multiverse, in the universe. This universe with our planets and all the beings of life and all the aspects of life, the trillions and zillions aspects of life in this one universe. It's mind-boggling. That's why I just love talking about soul blueprints, because you can't even imagine what goes on in one soul blueprint. And that's why all you need to focus on is your higher self, and then your soul blueprint will unfold as miraculously as it can. The more open you are to your soul blueprint, the more magical it will be. So this film comes on, and this film on whatever bandwidth, because it's always a trickle down, right? So as this, say 4D, we'll talk about where I'm at, 4D, as this film gets placed on this bandwidth, that film is encoded with God's, the Elohim, the Lords of Light. The Lords of Light place the codes based on what God's higher plan is for this new phase of ascension. Based on what have people done, what have people released, how have people awakened, where are we at now, what's coming next. That's ascension. Preparing yourself for higher integration of light. That's what ascension is. We're clearing out the density. What have we done? What have we cleared? Who are we now? What's coming next? That's ascension. Clearing out the density for the crystalline body, the carbon and the crystalline. That's what ascension is. We're becoming more and more crystalline. That next crystalline template, that sheath gets put on like a flimsy. And that flimsy, just like God, you know, just as you did in the old grade, you know, in the library, the librarian would take out her little marker and she would mark out, you know, we used to do this in social studies. She would mark out the country that she wants us to study and do a research paper on and then color. So that's God's plan. God's doing an outline. Those are the codes. I say outlines. This is all metaphors. God's making the marker. This is the flimsy for Earth, 4D Earth at this point. Because remember, everybody has a different timeline depending on what they're intending, directing, and focusing. There's an infinite number of pathways for Earth to go on. If you want to be on an archaeological Earth where you're doing a lot of old temple work and all the old temples are coming up, there's different timelines you can connect with. There's infinite timelines you can pop in and out of. If you, like I've got tons of beautiful art, I want to pop in and out of these archaeological timelines. All those just amaze me, right? Because I was a lot of part of those ancient timelines. I'm going to be helping out with those ancient timelines. So that is going to be an exciting timeline for me. So those are the directions and the intentions and those pulsations from my energy body, multidimensional, that I'm putting intentions into. Because that's exciting for me. The more excited you are as that crystalline child, God says, okay, well, here's some opportunities for the sheath. This flimsy comes on. God makes the little markings and says, okay, here's vibrational codes. The Elohim brings those codes in and lays it on this sheath based on God's plan. Those pulsations come from the very hearts of humanity. So God offers exactly equal measure to what our pulsations of excitement are. Pulsations that we no longer have corruption, and all that money can be shared for higher vibrational creational programs. Higher vibrational creational healing, higher vibrational creational abundance programs where the earth can be healed. So we're going to be shifting all of those money, instead of it going just to the elites. No, it's going to go to these really incredible programs for the earth. And so on those incredible programs, those pulsations, and when we talk about these ideas with the galactic federations, and they're bringing these high vibrational energies and ideas in, they have touch points like myself that then, okay, collective, these are the things we get to work with. Then people go to bed and they start thinking for the rest of their day, wow, that sounded really exciting. What can I play in? Those heart pulsations, those are the pulsations that God works with as to the timeline potentials that we all create. That's why I said it's multidimensional. It's very, very exciting. That's just how creational reality occurs. Your intention, direction, and focus of your energy. That's why you have to know, again, who are you? What are your excitements? You shouldn't be focusing on anybody else and doing spell work on anybody else. You're just putting your whole life in a bunch of mess. Your reality is created by intention, direction, and focus. Don't focus on anybody else. Don't start manifesting people into your life when they said, no, they don't want to be in your life. That's not how you manifest people. That's not how you manifest. Manifesting somebody by chanting their name every day, you don't have the right to focus to chant on people like that. You don't. That's not how you manifest. Again, it's interference. Again, why would you do that? Why would you want to force somebody to be in your life by chanting their name every day? And wanting them to be in your life when they said, no, I don't want to be in your life. Why would you do that? Go in and do your healing. That's not how you manifest. You're wasting so much energy and your life is an energetic mess. I have to be this blunt and I have to be this blatant because none of it makes sense, and you have to go back and draw it out. Draw it out. If it's meant to be, Spirit will place someone before you based on your vibrational match. If you're not a vibrational match, that person won't be before you because you haven't done equal work. And nobody wants to babysit anybody. Do the work. Do the work, people. Do the work. Sit down, draw it out. What are your fears? What are your beliefs? What are you moving through? Feel what you have to feel. Do the work. You cannot get through Ascension without doing the work. The spells won't work. They will be sent back. So then you're going to have to even have more double time and double work to go through the work, because you're going to have all your spell work that you sent out to somebody else because you wanted them in your life, because you wanted to take their money, because you wanted them to be ugly. And you're going to have to go through all of that mess of all that spell work. And then you're going to have to figure out where your Ascension path is at. You see what I'm saying? It's a mess. Mess, mess, mess. That's what spell work does. It makes a mess. Have we got that in now? Have we got that through? Have we got that through? There has to be another light worker that talks about this stuff. I can't talk about this anymore. I'm moving up to a new level. We're going to talk about big picture stuff. Platforms, templates, creational reality, multidimensional reality. So this sheath comes on like that flimsy. God draws it out to say, and when I'm saying God draws it out, the energy points, that is the codes. Elohim, the ink. They're offerings of light codes. Those conduits like myself, we call those light codes down because we have that interfacing. We then say, okay, collective, this is what's coming up next. And then everybody goes within and says, where am I at? What am I most excited about? Because again, Ascension is all about your sacred child, creative excitement, expression, exploration, experience, who you are as God, That's your role, that's your responsibility, that's your accountability. Who are you? Who are you as excitement? What do you want to get excited about creating? What do you want to get excited about helping others with? Where do you want to go with this? Again, you have to be, and that's why sometimes I have to step back and I have to just relax, because I've been doing this for 16 years and I've, there's been very little, again, feedback because my channels have been all frozen. So it's at the point now where I've been saying the same thing for 15, 16 years. And it's like, okay, I'm ready to move up a level because I have to learn and grow too. Right? And I've had no payment and I've had no payback on any of the stuff I've been doing for 16 years, other than a really small group of very loyal clients, because now they're the teachers and the healers and they're going to be leaders. So God wants to repay me now. So I'm going to be moving forward in this new direction. There's going to be a lot of shifts coming in the next 6 months. But I wanted people to understand why sometimes I sound frustrated the way I do, because there's been so much abuse on my timeline. I feel like I've wasted. I've had other people do such horrible things to me in my life. And it's so frustrating to think that so much of my life was wasted. I've been held back from receiving and helping so many people, when so much of these things that are crumbling and in negative form, I guess, could have been, none of this was necessary. And it's so frustrating. So that I'm being genuine, I'm being authentic. It's very, very frustrating when you have the potential to help so many people and you're being held back and discriminated against. Why? You work so hard at the passionate things that you're passionate and you're enjoy with, and yet you don't get a penny out of it. Why? And yet the underground corruption, when they're doing horrible things and harvesting and really harming the souls of children and the whole entire collective, why? And for someone that sees and knows and hears and sees and hears spirit, hearing animals being hurt the way they are, what's done to me is done to the collective. What's done to me is done to Gaia. What's done to me is done to the children. What's done to me is done to all divine feminine. Why? Why do we treat people that way? Why do we treat life that way? I've been doing nothing but offering unconditional stuff for 16 years. Unconditionally. Even back on KCR, I think my shows were like 2 hours long. Everything I do is for God and for Source and for Spirit and for the evolution of the planet. For us to tap into Christic, who we are as Metatronic light beings. How to transform, how to evolve. Why is evolving and why is being our highest and our best, why is that a bad thing? Why would I get targeted for 8 years, 6 years? I claim it, I own it. I survived it. But people have to also understand that my frustration is that survival. I survived that. Can we get on with it? Can I get on with living now? Can I get on with exploring new things? Can I get on with being a higher vibrational teacher now? Can I get on with actually receiving something? Can I get on with actually being proud of where I am and where I've come from? Can I actually get to receive things now? Can I actually be loved by someone that doesn't do spell work and want to mess up my life because they have ulterior motives and plans and agendas? Can I be loved by someone that wants to actually uplift me and encourage me and empower me and doesn't want to hold me in a little tiny box and shove me away so that nobody sees me and nobody hears from me and nobody knows that I'm here? Like a slave, like a dog? We've done enough punishment now for divine feminine, and I've done all the transmuting. Is it okay that I actually get to be seen and heard and known as the commandment of God's divine plan? Because I'm a reflection and I'm a holographic image of the delayed ascension that humanity has gone through. Have we done enough now? has the Epstein Island, has all the corruption, has all of the mess of humanity and all the underbelly that we've refused and denied ourselves to see. Have we had enough of not paying attention and turning ourselves off? COVID, was that enough? Earthquakes and wars, was that enough? Have we done enough of the denial now? Do we want superficial leaders that don't know anything about evolution of the soul and how to be sacred? Have we done enough of that? These have to be talked about, dear lighted ones. It's very blatant and obvious. And if it's not obvious, then we are absolutely entering into new higher vibrational intelligence. If not, why have we not asked these things? Why have we normalized such abhorrent behavior? And why have we not allowed ourselves to get healing for such? And how are we going to prepare ourselves when it has to come forward? And it is now. So share our videos, share our content, and make sure the feedback goes to YouTube. Whoever has been doing the shadow banning, they don't have any right. They're not the writers of God's plan. I deserve my rights. I deserve to be heard, to seen, and I deserve to heal the people that want to be healed. And God will make sure it happens. So those templates that are coming on, they're like that code of God. God's new. Again, they're like codes you get to tap into. So again, like I said before, when you come to a session and we place those codes in your field, just like these videos, they place codes in your field, it's up to you to go in and say, what can I tap into today? And that code will be there for you to transmute the energy and move that energy along, or start behaving in a way, because it's up to you now. Everything is free will. So God will place everything before you in their fields, on the templates of Gaia. They will place them in the crystalline grids, but it's up to each person to want to go in and say, no, I'm ready to do something different now, because how we've been behaving is not okay. How we've been allowing certain things to occur, how we've been allowing to have kids learn things they don't really need to learn. They could be learning such higher vibrational things where they're actually going to be expressing and exploring themselves and not be feeling like they're being controlled and suppressed into small boxes. And we're going to rewrite all of our disease. We're going to rewrite all the things that we've thought we've been moving along that were just keeping us in very small perspectives. And it's all been valid. None of these are judgments. They're harsh awakenings now, because it cannot be delayed any longer. We have to look at what we've been allowing to be okay. And the prefrontal cortex and all the rewriting of our beliefs, our morals, our values, we have to start having these discussions every day. So what are you working on? What do you want to make important today? How can we help the collective? Have those discussions every day at your table. You are a part of the collective. You are a part of universal ascension. You're a part of God's divine plan. You're a part of the destiny. You're a part of the love of God. God has such great divine and infinite love for you. The reason why we're going through all of these things is because of the love that God has for us. God doesn't want us to continue to sit in 3D billion-dollar business of an underground black market. God has such love, just like our children. Would we want that for our children? And if you say yes, we have to have that healed, because that's not okay. Who would want that for their children? Is that the most you want for your children, to be an underground sex market? And again, you need to get assessed right away if you say yes to that question. And that's not okay. There's no judgment. But it's we have to start talking about these things. We're transforming, and we have to look within ourselves. What have we allowed to be okay? And I have that discussion with Spirit every day. It's not okay that people think they can control my life. It's not okay that people have the right to keep playing spell work on me. It's not okay. No, I need to be seen. I need to be known, and I'm going to move as I want to fucking move. Period. I owe none. And none have any right to be in my field like they have been. They have no right. They were never invited. No permissions on my work. No permissions at all. The only things that I've signed in the last 6 years is that of my divorce. That's it. So if my signature has been on anything else, then it's been falsified and it's been fraudulently made. I've signed nothing. I know who I am. I speak truth. And I'm going to call it out on everybody before me. And why wouldn't you? You need to clear that energy. Stop hiding. Because those that are actually doing the work, we're going to be up on higher rungs, and those people won't be able to connect with us. because it's just the vibrational variance is too different. And nobody's going to hold themselves back to play games of spell work. Nobody's going to waste their life just because somebody wants to play around with spell work and in the back room and all the lights turned off. No. If you want to do satanic spell work, go play with satanic spell people. I said no. I get my rights. I don't want to play with black magic. Get me out of the energy. I said no 8 million times. You can't make me. Yeah, Divine Feminine has a voice, and we're going to start using it. They said that there's going to be a series, expect people to leave. Oh yeah, so they said this. And this is just a part of the shifts, right? So this is just how Ascension is. Expect people to leave simply because they'll be shifted out. Remember, anybody exiting and entering into the planet or entering into a timeline shift is because they've agreed to at the highest level of being with God. That is any exit or any entrance is God. Anything that goes in and out of an Akashic experience is God and that soul. Period. That's why nobody has the right to interfere with anybody, because it's that soul and God that ends up in the Akashic record and the Akashic books. No interference. So God decides who comes and who goes, because God knows how much of their soul has been transmuted, how much of their densities, how much of their soul records have been honored, how have they been learning their lessons, where are they at. God is the only one that knows every soul's experience, expression, what they've explored, what their intentions were, are their intentions ready to move forward. So there's no judgment on any of this. Everybody has a unique pacing and temperament of ascension, how they're processing light, how they're transmuting the density. It's up to each person to determine that with God themselves. And if they're not working with God, and if they're doing the same stuff, they cannot continue to go up the rungs of the ladder. They'll be where they need to be vibrationally. It's all vibrational match. So don't feel bad about those coming and going. We have to maintain alignment, right? So there's going to be shifts. Just expect that. Series of events that will occur to bring programs of light greater wiggle room. So yeah, there is a sifting out so that there's greater wiggle room to help those that are really accelerating. Because we need to keep work. We're the ones, the threaded pearl, right? We're the ones pulling the rest of the collective. So we have to be challenged. We have to be inspired by higher vibrational people. We have to have higher vibrational soulmates. We have to have those experiences so that we can offer more and more to the collective that's just awakening. Does that make sense? That's what Ascension is. It's the constant minutia navigating of energy. As we're letting go, we're rising up. As we're letting go, we're rising up. As we're letting go, it's contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion, contraction, expansion. Those of us that are navigating at the front line, we have to keep raising our vibration and leveling up to new grids, new templates, new codes, so that we can then offer the trickle down to those collectives that are working in their ascension path on whatever dimension they're working in. So the collective have to have greater wiggle room for those of us that want to excel. We're ready. We've been doing this for 16 years. I want new stuff, right? I mean, I could be doing, but then God says that's not, I have to sometimes sit back because I put out a lot of work and God said, okay, Joanna, you don't have to write today. Don't write. God says, just take a break, just sit back. And I'm like, I could be doing so much. I've got like all these charts and these flow charts and these things I could be doing. And God said, just take a break, just relax. So again, that's just being a hybrid. So gonna great wiggle work, coach you, shifted, and all that is done in the highest patterns for your collective race. For the collective race, the Seven Sisters, again, the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, the Seven Sisters, call upon the Seven Sisters for your ascension help and your healing. If you want to help with ascension healing, I love the sisters. They're so beautiful. Commander Ashtar. There will be silent shifts based on, again, where you're at, and there will be grander shifts. The grander shifts, obviously, everybody will know about because they'll probably be on the news. And again, those are just those pockets of corruption that are going to be pulled, and that will release a lot of density, right? Because every time a pocket of corruption gets pulled, those cancer energies are pulled up and transmuted. That's why everybody has kind of felt this week a really dense shift, because the energy pockets of some dense pockets have been pulled up, because they're no longer operating in that corruption, because they're being faced now. So those are really great things to celebrate. So those of us that have been focusing and putting our light on those energies, we're pulling those densities up, which means the collective has to feel it, and we just have to transmute it. It's not okay anymore. We're going to find new ways how to behave. So as those dark pockets get pulled up, that dark energy matter is in the collective. So then you have to, again, if you're working with your ascension path, you're going to use that dark matter to your benefit. So use that energy. You'll focus that energy. I'm going to use this energy to manifest, a potential herbal space for myself. So use those energies to manifest. That's how you manifest for your benevolence. It's not manifesting, forcing people in your life. All you have to do to manifest a lover is say, okay, Spirit, I'm ready for a soulmate. These are the things I liked in a person. And let Spirit do the rest. That's it. That's all you have to do. And if anybody's telling you have to do anything else, they don't know what they're talking about, and don't listen to them. Live if you want. It's all your free will. But you shouldn't be forcing anybody and pulling on their energy to be in your path. Because those everybody feels it. Stop messing with people's fields. Go give yourself love if you think you want somebody that badly in your life. The only person you need in your life is God. And if you have an ache for somebody specific, you have to get to that wound. Because if they're not in your life, they're not meant to be. Right? Everything is universal flow. The one thing I learned about the Ascension very, very quickly, the law of balance and simply allowing. When you're working on your wounding, you're not forcing things to happen anymore because you don't have that fear of stuff, controlling stuff. Just allow life to happen. See what happens for a day. Complete allowance. I challenge all of you for the next 3 days, sit in a space of allowance. Sit with an open heart, sit with grounding, and just sit to be open to receive anything. If your mind is running monkey mind to get things, to force things, to try and control things, to try and make things, there's a lot of wounding of control, and that is safety. When you notice yourself, if you cannot sit still without thinking, and you can just sit in an open space to receive, if you cannot do that for a minute straight without something coming up for you to start to control, you need to do the healing on your safety. 5D, you're not controlling anything. It is simply allowing God to live through you. Whatever is before you is meant to be before you. That's why you have to work on your attachments. Let it go. Forcing stories and narratives, let it go. Forcing people to be in your life, let it go. Control, control, control. Fear, fear, fear. Safety, safety, safety. Insecurity, no sense of self, insecurity. Heal your wounds. And why people have chosen to resort to spell work. Because I'd rather not look at the wounds. Spell work will never help you heal your wounds. You have to look at your insecurities, your safety issues. You will not get away from the Ascension work. And the work is you returning to you. So that you can sit there and just receive for a day. Can you be open in allowance for 1 day without having to control something, without having to direct anything in any certain way? Can you just allow God to surprise you? And then try it for 3 days. And your intuition will guide you, and your intuition will tell you what to do and where to go. You're not the driver anymore. Spirit is. And whatever comes up, deal with it. Face it. Acknowledge it. If it's a fear, say, yeah, I'm feeling this fear. Holy cow. What does this feel like? Oh my God. Can I let that person go? Is my life going to crumble if I let that person go? No, you're going to be okay. That was the lesson. You're going to be okay. You're strong with or without that person. You just haven't given yourself permission because you've been trying to control every aspect of life. That's not life. You're safe. It's safe to be here. Relax. Give yourself the challenge for the next 3 days to simply allow. Pay attention to life. God loves you unconditionally, always. There is a God in everything, all things, the design of our universe. God is all. God loves you. The flowers before you are God. The water that you drink, that bathes you, that cleanses you, that cooks your food, that is the love of God. There is the sweetness in life in all things, and God is showing you. We're just not awake to it. So for the next 3 days, allow God to make miracles move in and out of your life. Allow God to bring in the light and the energy to heal your body. Can I open and allow a healing today, Spirit? You're worthy of healing, are you? Of course you are. As soon as you recognize and acknowledge and give yourself permission to receive love, to receive the healing of God, you will receive it. But you can't receive it if you're trying to manage and micromanage the universe every second of your day, to force things to turn out the way you want them to turn out. That's not ascension. That's fear. So own the fear, release the safety issues, and know that you'll be held just fine. And then whatever comes up that your teams want you to look at, that you need to make right, your teams will show you. Sometimes teams place those energies and those names inside your head because you're meant to make something right, and you haven't. You haven't apologized. You haven't given what needs to be given, whether it's credit, given that person credit for what they created, given that person credit for how they've helped you, given that person credit for how they have aligned you and helped them brought you to a new level of a knowing of who you are. It's all about your soul lessons. Your soul doesn't care how much money you have in the bank. Your soul doesn't care what title you carry on earth. Your soul doesn't care about your titles and the abuse of your titles that you've had. Your soul cares about, did you let that person know that you cared about them before you did harm to them? Could you have shown that person a better way to be? Did you show that person that they could go in and love themselves? Did you show that person that they had other ways? And I can go to bed and say, yes, I've done all those things, Spirit. My soul is happy and satisfied. I'm nourished. That's ascension. That's about values and morals. Did I do my very best today? And you're going to fall back and forth all the time because we're practicing to be higher vibrational. So don't hold yourself in such perfection that you're meant to go back and forth and you're meant to feel these things out. But your soul cares about stuff like that because it's caring about people. Caring about oneness, caring about your soul, because everything that's outside of you reflecting itself back is parts of your soul. Soul fragments that need to be harmonized, soul fragments that need to be accepted, soul fragments that need to be loved and made whole again. And those reflections outside of you are those soul fragments. They're tests for you to say, no, I'm going to stand in my truth today. I'm going to say what I need to say. No, I'm going to stand in my story today because I don't want to surrender to your story. I don't like your story. My story is my story. But you feel good with your story and off you go. So there's many things and many reasons why things are placed in front of you. That's up to you and your higher self to discern what's my part in this transaction. That's what your soul cares about. Are you standing in your truth? Are you standing in your light? Are you expressing yourself with kindness and positivity and empowerment and inspiration to others? Can you empower others beside you to know that, yeah, this is a great ride. Tap in. We're going to do really great things here. We're going to rewrite everything. Everybody's going to be needed. Everybody gets to step up. This is the love of God. God's offering the love of God to everybody. Nobody's left out. The question is, can you hold that love for yourself? Or can you be an equal measure? Can you know that you can heal your body with God? Can you know that you can create miracles with God every day? Can you know that all you need to do is just allow? Because that person or a partner that you thought you wanted so bad that you did so much spell work on, that person might not even be anything compared to that person that God really has for you. But it was your ego that was so set on that person being in your life that maybe that person was going to want to go down a detour and be rerouted. Maybe that person a year from now was going to be diagnosed with a disease and wanted to take that route because of other reasons and other things. Because they wanted to know how to heal that disease for other people. You have no idea the plan. That's why when you start to control things, you start messing with your soul's blueprint and the highest plan God has for you. And that's okay. God just lets people do what they need to do because it's also part of the expression and the exploration. You got to be able to play in the playground. But when you're controlling things to the point where it's just a big mess and a demolition track because everything's being destroyed now, you're trying to control everything because of the stories you don't want to come forward, because of the hidings that you've been doing or the mask that you've been wearing, that's when you really have to look at, is what I've been doing working for me? What have I got going on here? Is it a bunch of negative? Is it neutral or is it positive? Again, draw it out. Draw out the infinity on everything that's going in your life right now. That positive, those are the minutiae of your positive intention, direction, and focus. Where do you want that timeline to go? I want to go to archaeology. I'm really excited about that. I want to do more healing things with my body. I want to learn about herbs. Those are those pulsations of excitement that God places on those templates and gives us those new bandwidths to play with. So that's why it's saying it's good to sit out and do what I said to you in that purposeful video. Release the 3D relationships that are not nourishing you, so you can step up into this new bandwidth about all of the excitements you want to tap into. Because now you're starting to be a part of the creational 5D templates, timelines. That's your excitement. Timelines are your excitement pulsations. That's a timeline. Everybody in humanity having free healing. Everybody in humanity being fed and having a house that they can have a place to rest their head. Corruption being completely cleansed from this planet. Those are timeline potentials. Those are in humanity's timelines. Because all of us have had enough of working like dogs and getting nothing out of it. And just being sick. We're not slaves anymore. It's over. Now we get to create 5D. And that's the love of God. Everything is because of God's love. We get to explore God in any way that we want. However we want to explore God. And there is no judgment but for God, right? And I have to forgive myself too, because I get so frustrated because it's the same story over and over. And that's my part of my healing too. Right? I'm honest. I know my transgressions and I work through them with God. And then God says to me, Joanna, you have to process those negative energies. If you get people throwing hate at you for 8 hours of the day, doing spell work on you, how are you going to process it? And I said, okay, thank you, God. And then I cry. God's loved me. God's accepted me. I don't have to feel bad for feeling, frustrated and angry because people just don't stop when I say stop. Right? That's ascension. It's your minutia with God. It's your navigation with God. Talk to God as if God's right here, because God is. God's my best friend. Every moment God is with me, I'm talking to God and God's talking back. I just love God so much. When you don't think you have anybody that understands you or gets you, God is. The love of God will make you if you think you're breaking. God will heal your body and your DNA because there's been so much pain done to you. And your sympathetic system or your systems have been just overloaded trying to survive. God will put you back together again. And God will say, it's okay, just rest. And then just as you're ready to fall asleep, God will whisper, you had a great day today. We love you so much. Sit back and celebrate. Crown chakra. That's the love of God. Nothing compares. And your heart inside of you, way deep inside. That's how you know you're being activated, because way deep inside you feel stuff. Those are your chakras opening and the densities breaking. Because you just allow. You allow God in and through. And that intention to feel God and to feel God's love and to feel God's talking with you and to feel God being with you, to feel God enmeshing with you, to feel God in all things, it breaks open every density that ever hurt you. And your heart chakra just feels tight. And then the light gets in and opens it up. And then God's saying, good girl, you're letting us in. And then the light bathes your heart. Thank you, God, for bathing my heart with love. Thank you, God, for bathing my heart with love. So God just said to me, we're sorry that you feel so frustrated. You're doing a good job. We love you. That's how sweet God is. I was watching the sun go down. That's God. That's what Ascension is. For 3 days, I challenge you just to allow. Allow God to enter your heart and enter your chakras. Have a conversation with God. Say, God, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to feel. Please enter my heart. And God will bring you to your knees. Because you deserve to feel happy. Your heart deserves to be busted open. Your heart deserves to be just busted open and allow all of those energies of love and self-love and how you are so very brave to have survived what you did. And stood your ground when you needed to stand your ground. And smiled at someone when they needed it. And spoke a higher truth when it was needed to be spoken. And God said, my goodness, daughter, my goodness, son, you are being your very best. You're standing in your truth and living your godliness. That's all I ask of you. I love who you are. That's Ascension. When you figure out and you remember who you are. And you feel so very proud to be who you are. And you say your name with song and vibrations of joy and exaltation that nobody's ever showed you before because God just showed it to you. And you wouldn't have known that if you just didn't allow that to happen. You allowed God to show you a new part of you. That's being married to God. And every day it's new. Nobody can bring that to you. That's reconnection. That's what our planet needs. Connect your chakras, connect God with every chakra. Sit and have open conversations with God to come into your heart. And clear away the densities that judged yourself. There's no right or wrong path. There's only love. So beautiful. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Shifting frequencies, uplifting the collective, allow again. So they just said here, allow the flow. And so again, yeah, allow the flow or resistance and denial. You know, there's always those opposite ends. And again, there's no wrong. There's no wrong because the soul might have to resist for a while. A soul might have to get, and we all have to have our paths, right? And sometimes we all have our themes to learn, right? We all have our themes to learn. So don't be hard on yourself. But when you allow, just sit and let God in, and you just have that authentic discussion with God, and have your higher self say, higher self and God, I don't know what I'm supposed to, I want to talk with you. I don't know how to let you back into my life. I know that you exist in all things. I've seen things. I've been awakening to things. I call in my spirit guides. I call in Mother, Father. I have the purity of intention to open up my chakras, and I want to feel myself again. I want to be connected to life again. I want to have miracles come through in my life. I want to just allow the majesty. That is spirit. The love of God is all things. And that's when you just see a commercial and you start crying. That's God letting you know that you're awake. Or you see a child laugh and it makes you cry in appreciation. Thank goodness the children are laughing. Because we've had a sad day when the children are no longer laughing on this planet. God will show you all the things that are magical. And it's about life interacting with life. Nothing superficial there. That's the vibration of God. So, dear lighted ones, why don't I just show you the beautiful. You see the moon up there? Isn't that gorgeous? See that beautiful? You see that? So, dear lighted ones, we give you that challenge for 3 days. Just open your heart and have your conversations with God. Very genuine and very heartfelt. And it's okay to talk to God however you choose to talk to God. God just wants you to talk. God just wants you to connect. God is saying through me right now, I just want you to talk with me, dear lighted ones. Talk with me. I'm here for each and every one of you. I know your hearts and I know your souls. I know who you are. I helped name you. I helped breath you. I have watched every step and I have watched every laughter and I have watched your tears fall from your beautiful faces. I am your Father. Talk with me. I love you. So the Holy Father says he loves you. Thank you, Holy Mother Father. And the Holy Mother is showing me her kissing your foreheads when you fall asleep at night. That is the Creator's. How could you not want that? So, dear lighter ones, well, I'm going to touch off for now. I gotta go cry some more. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So be grateful for these shifts that are coming up. It's just going to allow you to connect more deeply with who you are. I'm going to allow you to connect more deeply with God. So just allow and ask God to come into your heart and speak with God, however is just genuine, authentic for you. And God is always with you in every moment, whether you talk or not. God is always there. Our donation tab is below. Any donations are really wonderful. We're starting to save up for our healing center. So any donations that you offer, it's going to be going towards more of our healing supplies and our healing manuals and my book and all the things that it costs to create these healing sessions. And we also have the healing sessions, $50 off until the end of November. So that's $50 off. A 90-minute session is $200 US, so it's $50 off that. And our vocational alignment sessions are $550 off that if you book before now till the end of November, just to set yourself up for 2024. So those are really good sessions to get yourself redesigning yourself. And we love you so very much. There'll be more coming out about Commander Ashtar, and I'm going to be doing a separate class, and I'll be emailing those people today, or maybe tomorrow, probably tomorrow. I'll email those people tomorrow for the Commander Ashtar class, and we'll go deeper and wider into those that will be leaders, teachers, and healers on those upcoming shifts. So just expect it. We're in a new vibration now, so these shifts are going to be happening. So just keep aligning with Spirit every day, and just keep making sure the universal laws, and have fun. We're meant to have fun. We're meant to have fun now, right? It's going to be a lot lighter. 2024 is going to be a lot lighter, and we're going to be absolutely allowing our gifts to be used, evolving spiritually, which is what the soul asks of us, is to evolve spiritually, because we're spirit. We're here as spirit in human form. And so I'm so grateful for all of you, dear lighted ones, and I love you so dearly. Our links are below, and our email, you can go to any of my videos, and my PayPal link is there, and we'll see you soon.